Welcome into the Game Plan, presented by the Salisbury University Seagulls in support of alumnus Dan Quinn.
Welcome into the Game Plan with head coach Dan Quinn, Logan Paulsen. I'm your host, Bryan Colbert Jr. We are here in the Big Bear AI Command Center studio. Coach, we're going to our second of a back-to-back road trip. We're going out early this time to LA. What are the benefits of that, of getting out there a little early?
Number one, get acclimated. Time change to go, so let's get the team together. We'll go out and have a practice in LA on Friday, our normal practice that we would have here. Do all that there is mainly just to get 100% mind, body, heart, soul, everything exactly lined like you want to do it. It's also good to have the team together. And so much like we did in training camp, go away for a few days, just having that space together, it helps. And so this is one of those weekends that we get to do that.
And how awesome is it to have an ownership group that's going to support that? Because it's expensive. Someone's got to pay the bills, right?
That's
support
right.
winning, right?
And that's the name of the game, man.
Yeah,
and,
right.
Can we, find our ways to gain an edge in anything, Logan? And so this we feel like is one. And we thought about it during the off season. Sometimes you can do a road trip back to back and stay on the West Coast when you have two West Coast games. Well, the schedule didn't quite set that way, but we thought this is a close opportunity to go do that.
And Coach, it looks like Jaden Daniels is trending in the right direction. How valuable is that to get him back, not only just for this offense, but for the entire locker room?
Yeah, just he's worked incredibly hard, to put himself into that spot to get back on the field with his teammates, and so he provides a lot for us, on the field, off the field, and he's got great command of what we do. So yeah, we're pumped to get him back in it.
You could talk about the process of getting him back. I mean, it's like the medical staff, the training staff, the coach. It just seems like everyone was here to support him and support this decision, which is great.
And he and all the other guys, it's also how are they doing, the player. And so most of the time they're just chomping at the bit to get there, to get going for extra. But, where's he at? Swelling, pain, all of that, movement, mobility, the coaching side, doctor side. Let's get everybody together. And it's nice to have, now a year and a half relationship with Jaden. So we trust one another. We know what good looks like. We can communicate. And so we said all along we were going to make a smart decision, not a fast one. And this is, the right call and the right time, and he's ready.
And Coach, our offensive line, when you look at them, they've been extremely physical, especially in that run game. A lot of moving parts there as well with guys filling in. How has it been watching that group come together and still find success, even through everything they've been through?
Yeah, I think every team has it. There's going to be some adversity that hits for different teams. Sometimes it's early, sometimes it's late. But that's part of, playing. And we've got a big crew. I like where the run game's headed. I feel like we're gaining traction in that spot. The other part of that, Bryan, that's good is the run action passes that come off of that. The better you run, the better the play passes, can become. And oftentimes that's where a lot of explosive plays can come from. You're downhill on the run game and you're able to, rip one past you. So the better we run, the better the explosive passes can also come. So it's all tied together. And we feel like we're gaining on it. We've still got plenty to do. But it'd be great to have Jaden, right in the middle of it again.
Yeah, it's going to be so cool. And one guy in particular that sticks out to me is Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Kind of a late round pick. I got a soft spot because I know the journey of getting there. Can you talk about his work and kind of how he's earned this opportunity? Because you're always talking about how this is a competitive group. We want to preach competition. This is a great example of that.
Yeah, we have to live that, Logan.
Yeah.
If we say we're going to be about the competition, then there can't be, this person or that person. Like, hey, man, the best guys have to be able to go do that. And Chris has really established himself, especially in the running game, how square, the power that he has to go. And so the double teams and the movements you can see with him and Laramie together. But I always love when a player has an op and you go take it, because it's not given to him. You have to earn it. And there's still all the competition. But he's off to a good start. He really is. We're proud of him.
And Coach, you've mentioned the running game a few times, so let's talk about it. Really a running back by committee. Three guys that no matter whose name you call, they seem to be ready for that. How do those three guys complement this offense and what you guys are trying to accomplish?
What's awesome, the way they complement one another. And these guys are all about it, in terms of how they support one another to go. And it'll work itself out, in the weeks ahead. We're still growing into that spot. Austin, in the early part was there. And so we've really only had 2 games, without Austin. And so they're finding their space and making their ways. But there's a lot to gain. And we love what they bring and how they compete. Pass protection's coming along, in a strong way too. And as Logan would say, that that's just as important because you got to be able to nail that part too.
And one of the things, Coach, I always thought kind of your superpower was identifying people's skill sets. And so how do you, with a young player like Bokrovsky-Merritt, kind of say, hey, this is what he's ready for. He's not ready for this yet. Kind of find out where he can best impact the team.
Yeah, and it's such a strong way that he can make that impact. He's not doing it on teams yet. He'll get to that spot as well, where J Mac has plenty of experience onto that side, and Chris is gaining experience. But I like that they're all gaining, and when we find certain plays and certain things that they'll be excellent at, we keep digging into that. But Bill, on the inside runs, if we can get him to the next level, his ability to put his foot in the ground, change directions, try to get to the to the middle field safety, and if we can do that, Logan, I think he's got a real chance for some big ones because of that ability to get to the second level and then make that person miss.
And Coach, we can't have an offensive discussion without talking about Deebo Samuel Sr. and how much he's been able to do. I spoke to him earlier this week, and he said, this is the most fun I've ever had in my career. I'm sure you have a lot to do with that. How great is it having a guy like that you can count on to do a myriad of things, and he's found success in it very quickly?
Yeah, and he's scoring. And to me, that's where, like he can make the game and the impact, the return game, catching the ball, running the ball. And so he has such a unique skill set, and the closer it gets to the first down or to the end zone, like the harder he goes. And he's got that competitive nature and competitive greatness about him. He's an absolute blast to coach, and he is always down for it.
And I know you've coached against him, but did it surprise you when he got in the building, like all the stuff he could do? Because you see, like, oh, maybe you could do this, but like to see it in live, living color, did it change your perspective of it?
It did, because I was expecting just catch and runs and screens, and not just, but
that's what he was known for.
Right. Yeah, and so seeing him work on the route tree, him work, on the stems, and so the byproduct maybe of the other guys missing. He was outside, he was inside, and so there was a connection made with that with Jaden. So, he's off to a strong start. He is one hell of a competitor, and not just on offense, on the team side too.
Absolutely.
Like he can really make that impact.
And Coach, on the flip side, our defense is going against a very high-powered offense. What has been your message to the guys to continue to play what you call Commanders football?
Yeah, I think number one starts with like our attitude and play style, and I want that to jump off the tape to you guys when you watch it, our friends, our family. We've got to make sure our tackling is on point. When you want to play good defense in the NFL, there's going to be space. You've got to be able to tackle. The second piece of that, let's make sure like our leverage is exactly how we want it to be, whether it's in the pass game, the running game. And so we've had a couple games where I've really liked that style, where we've met it or exceeded it, and then we've had others where we haven't. So it's time to level that out, where that's just, how we get down every time.
And again, like with some of the new like practice structures, and you can't hit every day. Like, I used to like, if I got to get this block, I got to block. But is there a way to kind of help the guys see it and feel it? That's maybe not, us cracking skulls at practice all the time.
And you do see that it happens by the example of film, obviously, and then out at practice. I need to hear it, talking ahead of the call. What are the motions? What are the shifts? Because if we can get that part right, then you can play fast. And I want to make sure, like, no hesitation, just absolute directness of how we go. And if there's any gray or I'm not sure, that'll slow you down. So, like, no hesitation, no missteps. Let's really go nail our communication, which allows us to play really fast.
And Coach, before we wrap up, we're playing a guy in Justin Herbert. We've seen a lot of different quarterbacks, but what does his skill set make it tough to defend and also game plan against?
Yeah, I'd say two things. First, man, he can really rip it.
He's a baller.
Goodness.
Yeah, so and they've got a trio of receivers that are unique in their own way, with deep shots, intermediate routes with Keenan, option routes, double moves, with McConkey. But when he can see it and it comes open, it does not take long to deliver the ball. And he's a difficult guy to get down because of the strength. This is a 6'6", big QB. And so when you sack him, when you finish, man, you got like grab on, and like other guys are coming too. This is a strong player that can avoid, on the run to create first downs as well.
And Coach, we can sit and talk football all day with you, but it's time for your favorite part of the show.
That's right.
Film study with Logan Paulsen. Coach, appreciate you. Always great getting to catch up with Coach and Logan. We'll hear more from them a little later in Film Study. But now it's time for our Prime Player, brought to you by DC Prime, Loudoun's premier steakhouse. For dinner reservations or private dining, call 703-840-2099. Now our Prime Player is no other than Deebo Samuel Sr. Let's take a look at his season numbers so far. Now, this is his first season with the Burgundy and Gold, and through 4 weeks, he leads the team in catches, receiving yards, and touchdowns. 22 receptions on 27 targets, over 200 receiving yards, 46 rushing yards, and 3 touchdowns. Now, Deebo has been as advertised, and we're lucky to have a solid player like him on our roster that could step up while our guy, Terry McLaurin, was down. Now, Commanders family, we've had a fun show so far, but we've got to go to break. And when we come back, you won't want to miss Coach and Logan in film study, talking more in depth about our wide receiver, Deebo Samuel Sr., and this Commanders offense. And later on in the show, Logan and Coach and I will count down the kickoff. We'll be back with all that and more right after this break.
The Game Plan is presented by the Salisbury University Seagulls in support of alumnus Dan Quinn. And by the Maryland Lottery Fast Play Games. Play fast, win fast today. Please play responsibly.
Welcome back into the Game Plan with Dan Quinn, presented by Salisbury University. It's time for film study, sponsored by Salisbury University Seagulls in support of alumnus Dan Quinn. Take it away, fellas.
Coach, love getting in the film room with you, and some things from the Atlanta game that always stick out. And I'm a guy, I just love good runs. And you guys had a great one here to start off. A little counter. So counter, we're going to pull the guard. He's going to lead up here, second puller. And just everybody's kind of hitting the mark here. And that's something that's so pleasant to watch.
Yeah, this is, I think Coach Gibbs would be proud to see a counter play coming to life here in D.C. But we've got some guys that can pull. This is a good one by Chris. He's on the kick-out block. Yankoff's going down to get the seal, of the backer coming down. And now you can see Ben, he's the second one going through. But it starts first with the double team. Can Connerly get some movement to get some space going to allow Chris to hit this thing right downhill, all right, and find ways. Then, Logan, then it gets down to the next ones. Can Deebo get one?
Yeah.
Can you make the middle field safety miss? And now you got a chance at some big ones.
I'm glad you brought that up too, because you see Deebo, but this is kind of a sneaky missed tackle. Chris isn't the most sudden guy, but he makes this guy miss. Bring your own blocker. That's the unblocked player. When you design the run, it's supposed to get to this guy here. Running back's got to make you right. He does a great job of that.
He does a great job, and if you can get to the next level and then have a plan for the middle field safety, because there's so many men in the box, you got a chance for the big plays.
Yeah.
And so it's a great play. Well designed and well executed by the guys.
Yeah, and I'm really glad you brought up the Deebo working down the field. It's great to see your best players putting forth that kind of effort to spring other guys.
Yeah, you never know when that play is going to happen. You just have to make the choice to go be physical. That might have been a 3-yard run, but the next one could be a 40-yard run.
Yeah, you always got to be ready for it because you never know when it's going to happen, absolutely. So again, Deebo in the run game, Deebo in the pass game. And the thing you mentioned when we were doing the earlier talk segment was his stems have gotten a lot better, and I love his ability to kind of set this guy up with a subtle lean here, create space, and then the athlete takes over, is able to make this play.
That's right. And you refer back to the first one of the run action.
Yeah.
Where the cell of the run inside, they bring in 5 players. Can you create some space in that way? And then after you stem, they're ready to take them on an over route, and then you can bring it back out. And then Marcus does a great job throwing it to the only spot, where Deebo is the only guy that can get to it. So good rip, good throw, good route. And good protection as well.
And like you're talking about with the play action, it's one of those subtle things. This guy's a dropper, right? But he's engaged with the blocker, right? Kind of get a little bit of hand fight in there with Laramie. He holds him down. And then look at the window, the grass he's able to create here, just from the action like you're talking about, running the football.
That's right.
Leads to these explosive opportunities.
Yeah, so if you get the run action game going off the runs, now you got something to work with. And so that was nice to see this part take place, and again, guys being physical in the pass protection as well.
Absolutely. And again, so Deebo was great, Mariota, great throw there, but I think one of the throws of the day and one of the plays of the day really is this kind of, I don't know what this is, a little stutter takeoff here, kind of double seam look, whatever we got, sitting in the pocket, making a throw from the quarterback, and then your receiver making a play down the football field.
Yeah, just a fantastic throw, one that they had practiced and worked on. If this coverage came up, this is the one to go to, knowing that we had to have a big play into this spot, but just the right air on it, great ball, great throw, and it's excellent to see Deebo making his mark, as a receiver as well.
And it's one of those things where it's he didn't get a lot of reps in training camp because of the Achilles, right? They haven't worked together a ton, and to see this kind of connection with 2 veteran players, it speaks to their experience, I think.
Yeah, 100%. And so, this is a play that Marcus specifically said, if this scenario comes up, this is the one we got to go to. And so, sure enough, his idea, his touchdown.
That's got to be so cool when in the week they're like, man, if we see it, let's go get it, right?
Yeah, and so they were, assertive on it. This is the one, and good for Cliff to lean into that and say, yeah, man, that's the one.
And then this one too, just good fundamental quarterback play. This is Luke McCaffrey's touchdown here. And, it's great job by Luke kind of pushing for width, getting to the inside leverage and running this dig. But also you can see Marcus's eyes here, the way he's able to get this guy the safety to kind of get out of position. He's kind of checking this flat crossing route here. This guy moves out of his spot. It's really just well executed across the board.
Yeah, when you can get 4 to a side when you're playing some zones, that's when some things can take place. And so onto this one, because of Chris coming back outside, now it creates different types of challenges where you can high-low people into a zone. When the field gets condensed, you have to have some ways, whether it's man-to-man, you're trying to get crossers to go, or an example like this where you're trying to high-low people in zones. You got some real chances to put people into a bind, and a great execution by the guys.
Yeah, great execution. I love you brought up that 4-week thing. That's something that everybody in the league seems to be doing, but you see how it just crushes zone coverage if run effectively.
Yeah, and great protection, 5-man protection, a little chip by Zach on the way out just to get enough, and that's all the time, Marcus needed, an excellent route. And it's good to see, man, Luke's such a competitive player. Returned to punt, long.
Yeah.
Touchdown here, went down, made an assist on the kickoff on the next play. So I think that speaks to his competitive nature, what he stands for. Like, he's just a football player, man. Whatever it takes to help, he's down for it.
And there's a lot of guys like that, a lot of competitive, tough dudes, and we can't wait to watch you guys today versus the Chargers.
It's always great to learn from two of the best to do it, Coach and Logan Paulsen. Now it's time for your winning numbers, brought to you by Maryland Lottery. Please play responsibly. And our winning numbers this week are all about wide receiver Luke McCaffrey. Now, over the past 2 weeks, second-year wide receiver Luke McCaffrey has found his place in our offense and has come up big in the return game, putting up 5 receptions for 77 yards and 2 touchdowns. Luke is really getting it done. We cannot wait to see what else he can accomplish this season. Now, let's take a look at more of our upcoming competition. It's time for a competitive edge, brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official partner of the Washington Commanders. Now, taking a look at the numbers from Week 4 for the Commanders and also for the LA Chargers. The Burgundy and Gold offense stalled in Atlanta, putting up a season-low 147 passing yards in Week 4, but still managed to put up 27 points on the road in Atlanta. Now, running back by committee put up another solid performance of 147 yards, led by running back Chris Rodriguez. Now, Washington's defense will face off against quarterback Justin Herbert and the LA Chargers, who lost on Sunday 21-18. Now, last week was just the 9th time in his career that Herbert threw 2 interceptions in a game since Week 7 of the 2023 season. Now the Commanders will head to the West Coast in Week 5, looking to get back in the win column. Now we got to go to break, but be sure to stick around, Commanders family, because Logan, Coach, and I will be right back to count down the kickoff and talk more about this matchup. But before we go to break, congratulations to our Commanders Coach of the Week, Coach Zach Edmonds from Garfield Senior High School in Woodbridge, Virginia, and Coach K.C. Landfeld from Clarksburg High School in Maryland. Nice work, coaches. Keep it right here. We'll be right back with more of the game plan. Welcome back into the Game Plan with Dan Quinn, sponsored by Salisbury University Seagulls in support of alumnus Dan Quinn. Now it's time for your must-watch matchup presented by Marsh McLennan Agency. Now our must-watch matchup this week is between head coach Dan Quinn and Chargers head coach Jim Harbaugh. Now both coaches are entering their second season at the helm and are coming off of a successful year 1. Harbaugh led the Chargers to an 11-6 season and a wild card spot where they lost to the Texans, ending their season. EQ's historic first season led the Commanders to a 12-5 record and their first NFC Championship appearance since 1991. And before we end the show, it's time for our countdown to kickoff, presented by SeatGeek. The most disruptive idea in ticketing, a ticket that works. Expect, be expected. SeatGeek. Coach, we've had fun with you. Before we let you go, we are already past a quarter of the way through the season. It's crazy to think we're already in Week 5. What have you taken from those first 4 weeks that we're going to use today against the LA Chargers?
Yeah, a lot. And I want to make sure I hope you and everybody else sees, the energy that we're going to play with. Whether that's home, that's on the road, anywhere, anybody, anytime. Like, that has to be like LA, DC, wherever that goes, that travels with us. And so that type of intensity to go, we're really looking to, push the pace and play fast. And those are some things that you'll see from the team today.
And how has the team changed? I think, obviously the Commanders' play style is the constant element, right? But like the team's changed. There's injuries. Guys play better or play worse than you think they're going to play. So how do you see it now? And then where do you think it's going to be going?
Sure. And I think there's a way to win every game. You've heard me say this before. And I think that's true. And so injuries happen to different ways and different, parts. And so the best way to win for us in this style and how we want to play it. And so I'm pleased that we're gaining traction in the run game and the run action passes that go along with that. We've got work to do to get better on third down offensively. And on the defensive side, consistent pressure on the QB. If we can get that done, every game, day in, day out, those are some things that we know we can play well doing. And so those are some things that we're really going to lean in on this next quarter.
And Coach, we're back on the road, but when you looked around Atlanta, kind of felt like a home game. A lot of Burgundy and Gold fans. How great is that to see that just keep going and see that support?
Yeah, it was unexpected in some ways, and nice to know that we travel. And man, like coming out there and seeing that outside, walking out of our tunnel and hearing it, it's the best feeling. And so we want more of it around the country and around the world. So wherever that is, that's America, it's in Spain, like all of it. It's so appreciated by the team, and we know it's not easy and not cheap, and but man, is it appreciated.
It is definitely appreciated, Commanders family. This is the Game Plan with head coach Dan Quinn, the legend Logan Paulsen. I'm your host, Bryan Colbert Jr. Let's get this win today in LA. Thanks, Coach.
The Game Plan, sponsored by Salisbury University, was filmed at the Big Bear AI Command Center studio. Big Bear AI offers mission-ready AI for a rapidly evolving world, proudly protecting the Washington Commanders and its fans.